When I'm reviewing a car, I often consider, would I want to take it on a road trip? You know, spending 10 hours a day in the driver's seat, traveling across vast expanses. Well, with the 2014 Lexus GS 450h, the answer is definitely a yes. The 2014 Lexus GS 450h has two things that really recommend it for a road trip. One, it's got a very nice driving feel. It's a luxury car. And two, it's very economical. You wouldn't necessarily consider a luxury car to be economical, to have a hybrid system like this one. It's sort of like a billionaire shopping for groceries at Trader Joe's. But it all comes together nicely in this car. There's a couple of design cues that distinguish the GS 450h from the GS 350. One, this 450h has a slight bluish cast to the Lexus emblem up front. That's supposed to mean blue skies, kind of green tech kind of thing. And we also, of course, have hybrid badges down the side as well. Now let me give you a refresher course how a hybrid gasoline electric system works in a car. We've got a gasoline engine, we've got an electric motor, and we've got a battery pack. Now when you slow down or hit the brakes, that kinetic energy is actually captured and generated and turned into electricity and stored in the battery. When you go forward, when you hit the accelerator, the energy from the battery is sent to the electric motor, and that's used to help push the car forward. The gasoline engine also comes in to push the car forward, and depending on the situation, you could be driving under fully electric power, under both the electric motor and the gasoline engine, or just the gasoline engine. Now in this GS 450h, we've got a really robust hybrid system. The gasoline engine, it's a 3.5 liter V6. This engine does 286 horsepower, 254 pound-feet of torque. For valve timing, it uses an Atkinson cycle. That's actually, reduces the power a little bit, but it's more efficient. Now with these systems, Lexus is fairly honest about the total horsepower, total output of the system. They don't just add the horsepower from the engine and the motor together. They do a calculation that gets them to a total system output, in this case, 338 horsepower. That's not bad for a car of this size, and Lexus says it'll go from 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds. Now let's get in the cabin and check the tech. I really like the cabin inside this GS 450h. Lexus has done, well, their usual job of nice luxury appointments, but one thing I particularly like is they've gone to using bamboo for this trim pieces here. And they use a satin finish on this, which gives it a really natural feel. I like this so much better than the really high gloss wood surfaces you find in some cars. One really cool feature that I've not seen on other cars are these automatic seat heating and cooling controls. And if you just hit the seat heating one once, it puts it into automatic mode. What that'll do is it'll look at the temperature you've set in the climate controls and automatically adjust the seat heating or cooling depending on the outside temperature. Now we have the shifter here. This controls what Toyota Lexus has used in their hybrid vehicles for a long time as their transmission. It's actually a planetary gear set. It's sort of an electronically controlled variable transmission. You can throw it over here to a sport mode. And you also have a manual shift mode, which seems kind of weird because there's no actual gears here, but they do include 8 programmed shift points, so it mimics what an 8-speed would do. And I can select those gears by either pushing up for an upshift or down for a downshift. I also have these paddles on the wheel, and along with that, we also have different drive modes. So we've got this dial controller here on the console. We have 2 sport settings. We've got Sport, if I turn it once to the right, and Sport Plus, if I turn it once more. Now, when I do that, there's a little bit of magic that happens on the instrument cluster. So if I'm in normal mode or eco mode, I have a speedometer on the right, and on the left side, I have this power gauge. This shows when the car is charging through regenerative braking, shows when it's moving in eco mode, or it shows when I'm really on the power. But when I move it to sport mode, this thing suddenly changes into a tachometer. It's pretty cool. It's a nifty little feature. I like it. For the infotainment system here, we've seen this controller here before in Lexus vehicles. This is what they call remote touch. It's actually sort of a mouse-like thing. You move this little pad around and it moves a cursor on this huge 12.3-inch screen. It's not my favorite because when you move it around, it's really easy to sort of skip what you're looking for when you move the different options on the screen. Next to the menu button, I also have a map button so I can go directly to my maps. I like that feature. Now in this auxiliary screen, I can do some basic controls, like on the audio screen, I can change audio sources, or I can skip tracks. I can go to the climate control screen and actually choose temperature and stuff like that. I don't know why I'd want to do it there when it's really easy to do it with the panel on the dashboard here. Now the maps look pretty good. One weird thing with Toyota Lexus is they don't do perspective view maps. They only do plan view maps. That's looking straight down on it. You can get north, up, or the direction of the car, but you can't get any other kind of map on here. If I want to choose a destination, I actually have to hit the menu button, then go over here and choose the destination icon. So I have my usual destination options like address entry, point of interest. Destination Assist is actually their telematic system, so I can actually push a button and call an operator and they can send a destination to the car. And here, if I choose the little apps folder, I get a series of apps that are actually connected to my phone. For audio sources, even though on this main menu screen they separate radio and media, which is a little bit annoying, when you go to the actual audio screen, it's all the same, and you can actually choose any of the audio sources from this screen. All of this music is playing through a Mark Levinson audio system. That's an upgrade in this car. 17 speakers. It's a good sounding system. It's very well balanced, and you can get good distinct highs. You can get pretty deep bass that'll shake some of the panels depending on what tracks you're playing. One thing I've noticed, I was driving down the freeway, fairly flat freeway, 70 miles an hour, and I was seeing the trip computer give me an average rating of, it was approaching 40 miles per gallon. I was really impressed by that. So I assume if that's what a lot of your driving is, that your total average would probably be in the mid-30s or so, and that's excellent for a car of this size. This is electric power steering, fairly easy to turn at low speeds. I mean, there's not a lot of feel here. At higher speeds, it hefts up a bit. Generally, it's just a very comfortable, easy, uncomplicated car to drive. The suspension gives it a nice ride quality. It's a very competent suspension. It's not soft, but it damps out the bumps really well. It's a little bit springy, and I really enjoyed the feel of this car. The accelerator wasn't always there, didn't always have the power on tap because the hybrid system was a little fussy that way. But ultimately, you know, what I feel like this car does best is just cruises. All right, let's price out our 2014 Lexus GS 450h. Base price comes in at $60,430. Now, options may vary by region, but in California, you will only have 3 choices. There's 3 luxury option packages. Now, at the base level, the lowest price one, which is about $10,562, you get the Mark Levinson stereo, you get navigation, you get LED headlights, you even get a head-up display. Now, if you go up to the top level package, $15,000 package, you add some driver assistance features like adaptive cruise control and lane keeping assist. If you want those, extra $5,000. If not, you're about $10,000 over. Total price comes in about $72,000. So $72,000 is a hefty price for a car, but I really like this GS 450h. It's a good all-around car. It's not a lot of fuss. It has a lot of good technology. It's comfortable to drive to work every day, and it's definitely a car I wouldn't mind taking on a road trip across the country.